Hello, and welcome to the stream. I forgot to get rid of the ice cream hands. Okay, wait, sorry. Welcome to today's stream. Today is, I'm sorry about yesterday. I wasn't on because I got tired and I was doing some stuff, and then the thing that I was doing took a while, and then I realized I didn't have time to do the rest of my stuff. So, my bad. But we're here today, right? Now we're here to get today with each other. And you know what? Do you know why that was a slip up? Because it's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Happy Pride Month. Hope everyone's doing well. It's interesting being in June already because it means that half the year is over. I want you all to really think about this. I feel like 2024 just started. I feel like things were just starting, and now it's already halfway through the year. I feel like I've lost months to work. I feel like I've just lost months to like doing work stuff or just doing things. I don't know. It feels like time has been a blur. But I appreciate everyone for being here. We have some interesting announcements today. I'm gonna start with I don't know what's like the most interesting thing. We now have a Discord server. So if you type !Discord, it shows up. I should probably pin a message about this, and I completely forgot to. My bad. I'm pretty sure the link still works, but just in case, because it regenerated at some point. I don't know why it regenerated, but as far as I can tell, it still works fine. So if I do a little this and I go to it on my browser, does it work? It should say I'm already in here. Could not find host. Ha! Cloudflare is unable to resolve your please enable cookies. What does that mean? Okay, well, that's unfortunate. I think the Discord site is down. So, how about this? We now have a Discord server. We now have a Discord server. I don't know what happened to Discord's website. I think the configuration is down. Because if I go to discord.com, I actually think, yeah, the whole site's gone. Wait, discord.gg, discord.com? Yeah, no, it's just gone. Okay, well, what do you do at this point? Like, how do I... What happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Well, was it my fault? I don't know if it was my fault. But it's gone now, so I don't know. But hey, I don't know what happened to it. I can't seem to go to Discord, but maybe you can. If you can, then let me know. But now a Discord server, you can go inside, you can join. If you can get through the maze, then you can probably like interact with other people as you see fit. It's kind of empty, and I have a couple of ideas of fun things to like do. But they'll start sooner rather than later. I just want to get it open for now, and then I'll finish up the rest of it soon. And by soon, I mean like within this next week, I'll actually start some of things. There's a couple of fun things on the server. One, there's a book club. Okay, so we're gonna start like a stream book club at some point. As you all know, I like to read, and I thought it'd be fun for us to like do something nice and chill that everybody can do. I think can everybody read? I don't know if anybody read. If you can't read, that's fine. It's a good time for you to learn. I'll add some kids books to the list, right? If you listen, Green Eggs and Ham, you should be able to read that. I think. I hope. I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. And I'll add different like genres and like stuff for you to like do. I figured that'd be fun to like do, and also because I want to see all of your book reports, very short ones. I just want to see if you can answer some questions that I have about these things, questions that I thought about a lot of in terms of like what these things are. We also have a place for you to post your responses to certain incidents, like stuff like the Happy Hippo. So as you may not know, last time we were on stream. I think it was last time. We saw something called the Happy Hippo. So let's see. Chat says, I'll do just happy this first. Chat says that this is just a hippo, and then I was told that you see what you want to see, right? This is apparently a hippo. Okay. However, what I saw wasn't a hippo. What they say this is this. They say that it's this. They say, chat says that it's this. Right, a hippo. So you can see the tongue and the smoke at the bottom. It's because it's like a hippo, right? Like it you know what I mean? It has a mouth. What I saw was something else. I know what I saw. I know exactly what I saw. I saw the nippo. This is the actual hippo that I saw. So for whatever reason, everyone's saying that I was wrong when I know what I saw. All right, I know exactly what I saw. But now you can prove to me that I'm wrong in that channel as well on the Discord server, and we'll have it for whenever there's a dispute on things, which happens a lot on this channel. So there's probably going to be more and more things happening there than I would have expected. Because going back over the other pre-streams and thinking about it, there's a lot of times I've asked you to like remember things or like write down what you think it is, and then like or like draw something on your end to like refute my dissertation. So it's gonna be interesting to see everybody's hippo photos. Remember last time I told you all to keep your photos? Well, that's why. There's also a channel for you guys to share music and stuff. I'll be sharing a lot of stuff in there as well, and of course a general chatting channel. There'll be more fun things as well. Again, as time goes on, I just need time to develop one really fun thing that I think you'll all enjoy. The plan is to have a channel where we smith new words. The goal is that we can eventually find a new word similar to like Riz or Gat or Skibbity, right? The reason being is because in this channel, it'll force you to write unique sentences that have never been seen before in that channel. And so at some points, you're going to exhaust all possible permutations of like sentences that make sense. And so you're going to have to invent new words to make it make sense. Synonyms won't work at some point. And so my hope is that if I can channel all of your brain cells into a single place, we'll eventually be able to find and like start a new internet trend, right? Like Joykinet, right? Like, okay, like imagine Joykinet. Where is it? Where's my Joykin? If we can get a new if somebody in this channel can make this, then I'll know that channel is like worth it. That all the effort has been for something worth it, right? But that's a later term thing. I need to finish the like bot that's gonna like watch you, because that's to store it in like a database and that's to like index things. It's a whole thing. There's a video of it. There's a video of it coming out in like a week. Same with some other videos as well on the main channel. That's the other big announcement, is that the main channel is getting uploads sometime this week. I think it's going to be on Wednesday, and then by Thursday or Friday, they'll finish processing, I think. But I need to render it by tomorrow, if not Tuesday night. As well, plans for the rest of this week. Thursday, Friday, I'm gone this week, which means we're streaming until Wednesday. My wife and I are hanging out Thursday, Friday. We're going for a swim, actually. For context, I can't really swim, so it's up to my wife to keep me alive. If I die... if I die and I don't show up on stream, you know why, right? It's because my wife failed to keep me alive. Not that she has to, but like, I asked her to like train me, so it's gonna be good. That was a weird sentence. But yeah, we'll be streaming all the way until Wednesday. We'll be catching up on the things that we missed doing this week. So Crypt Master, as well as Road Warden and the stuff. Tomorrow's the model building. We're gonna be building the giant steel peacock, which I'm excited for. That thing's been sitting on my shelf for a while. And I've also got a model house that I forgot that we had as well, because I found it in my shelf and I was like, oh yeah, I never built this. So once I get the super glue, we can start to make that too. I don't know if we should use super glue. I've heard it's very caustic, but oh well. But yeah, that's all the announcements for the stream. There's a lot of fun things happening. And I appreciate everyone for sticking by for as long as it took to make the server. I know many of you were asking about this actually, across many different streams. This will be cut into a video on the main channel too, so it's just a way for you to like know what's like going on and to update everyone who like watches on YouTube too. Just know that people who go into the Discord will be from multiple sources, whether they're like VOD watchers or lurkers or people who are in like chat. Everybody's gonna be here for like a different purpose. The rules are there. Just be respectful to each other. Be nice. Don't dox anyone. Like just be a cool, chill person. Don't be an asshole. And you're gonna fit in just fine. Be the way that you are inside chat, and then you're good, right? So hopefully you enjoy. And also, to the language masters out there, there's a fun little channel that you might like as well. Any major announcements will be done in a separate channel, emoji only, called An Unknown Voice Enters Your Head. Whoever deciphers those, I'm keeping track of the points, okay? Whoever deciphers it first gets a point, and then you get to go on something. I don't know yet. I'm still figuring out what to do with the points, but I am tracking them, actually. It's currently being tracked, not through a bot manually, but there will be a bot soon for when I do award things. But yeah, that's pretty much all the announcements. So hopefully you enjoyed the server. I will be active on it, so if you are there, I'll be there too. And then like it won't be like a dead server. I swear to God. Even on the days that I'm off, I'll be there because I realize I need to get off Twitter. Shit, I've been on Twitter too much. If I was there on Twitter when it was like a new, fresh thing, I think I would have never been able to do anything else. There's something inherently fun about Twitter, I think. And it's entirely because of how it is, I think, or like how it's structured. On Twitter, you get content. How is this? On Twitter, you get content from other people who are much smarter than you, much more entertaining, and all the system does is try to give you the best content possible. Not the best content for you, the best content possible. At least that's how it was before. But yeah, I still get glimpses of the old system that people praise, right? When the old algorithm was like that as well, I still get glimpses of it. Sometimes I'll go on and I'll see a post out of nowhere, and it's just it's the funniest thing that I've ever seen. I just saw snakes like solid snakes, like solid snake bulge. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen because it's so funny in the context of like what it was. And it was a June 1st post. It was like, okay, well, happy Pride Month. I was like, yo, that's pretty good. And you just don't get that on other platforms. You just don't. This is the thing that I understand now about Twitter is that sure, YouTube, you might have like videos and essays and stuff, but there's no short form content that's on this level, I think. And shorts, I've seen shorts on YouTube. I feel like the shorts game on YouTube is much, much weaker than it is on TikTok. I think the short form content on TikTok is much better. I think the people there understand what makes it work. Whereas on YouTube, it feels a lot more tame. It feels a lot more subdued. It feels like everyone's trying to make it big. Whereas on TikTok, it still feels like the core of it is just people doing shit that they want to do in like short forms. And then it's like if it pops off or not, no one, like some people care, but not as many people care as on YouTube, right? And I think it's just because of the amount of effort that it takes and the fact that there's no built-in tools on YouTube. You just kind of have to go grab your own video editor and like raw dog it. It's a very different sort of like content landscape. But even then, it still sometimes doesn't beat like just a straight up like a text thing. Like again, in the strip club, straight up jorking it. I missed this. This was last year. If I saw this last year, I absolutely would have just this would have been my personality for the entire year, because that is hilarious, and you just don't get that in other forums. And again, it's the fact that it's so clunky. It's the fact that the words they're so meaningless and yet they mean so much at the same time. Everything combined, it's that whole. It's like a goulash of letters that eventually becomes something a bit worse than you would have ever imagined. But boy, oh boy, is it good. I've been very addicted to Twitter. But I've got to get out of Twitter, and we're going to go into whatchamacallit, the Discord. So you'll see a lot more of the stuff that I usually do on Twitter on like there instead. I also get annoyed with Twitter because like I hate how Twitter now you have to have an account to see posts. It's such a stupid decision, and I remember thinking about this and calling it out when it first was announced too. The problem is that like it's like that same diagram that I showed last time of like the amount of chatters in like a whatchamacallit a Twitch channel like ends up being. You have a very small fraction of people who actually like actively chat. Actively chat. The amount of lurkers and just like watchers in general ends up being a much higher percentage of the entire thing. And so Twitter moving away from more of a read-based system and going towards more of a interaction-based system feels a lot worse overall for how do you say this? For discovery. Yeah, discovery is probably the best word. Even though it's not really discovery, it's more like, well, I guess it's discovery from your perspective. But in that sense of like discovery, for you to be able to find the things that you want to find, yeah, it's kind of hard to like see this stuff, and it's frustrating. And so that's why the Discord kind of exists. It's still not the best solution because the Discord, do the bots, I have to do the onboarding process, and the onboarding process is like also kind of annoying because it's also like a struggle to go through like the whole process and like read the rules and figure out from the rules what to press and stuff like that. And I have to do like a reaction roll system because if I don't, then it doesn't really work, right? Just to get rid of bots. It's still not the best option, and I still would have preferred like an open forum where people can just see things, but they don't have to join. But it's the best like it's the best that I've got so far. I mean, I'm gonna eventually change it because I think there's some things that can be just fully open. I think like a general chat, I think just open out of nowhere could be interesting, but I kind of want to keep it private for now just because it is pretty dedicated towards like the members of the community versus just like random strangers. So, and also it's so funny with I love watching the Discord too because the maze. I love the onboarding feature because I made it into like into like a small game. It's just a little maze, and if you fail to answer correctly, you're just stuck inside the maze and you're not allowed to see anything because you might answer incorrectly. And there's no way for you to tell like what to answer unless you read the rules. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see how it goes. I really enjoy the fact that they let you just do whatever you want for your server. Please answer all questions honestly when you are asked to answer. It's very important for a survey that I'm going to be doing later on. And also questions, and also for law enforcement. To be good. Now, some other announcements. Today we're going to be playing Elden Ring. It's going to be the start of our playthrough, okay? It's because there's a lot of things that happen for Elden Ring. We're not gonna do it all at like once, right? For Elden Ring, what we're gonna do is sort of like a much more digestible series of playthroughs. We're not gonna go all in like we did for the other long games, where we play like spurts of it and then we stop, right? We usually do like a burst and we stop, burst and we stop. What I'm going to do is primarily we're going to be playing things in much more smaller pieces. So, we're going to be splitting up the Elden Ring playthrough throughout the entire like month until we finish it. It's going to get most of our time, but not all of it. We're also going to jump in between the various games and finish them as we go, as well as, you know, the usual fun antics that we get up to, right? It's only because I realized that it's June, and we have about 25 days until the DLC drops. And I promised everyone that I would actually do it, and I promised that we would actually get like a new build going, and I promised that we would actually like try it. And also it's good because I don't remember a single thing. Last time I played this game was like a year and a half ago, so I don't remember anything, okay? And it was completely off stream, and I didn't even get to like fully finish it, I don't think. I'm pretty sure. Usually when I play things, I don't record them on my own, so it's hard to remember what happened. So we'll be studying it, but it won't be like an all-consuming thing. I promise. It'll be interweave with all the other fun things that we do in this stream, all the other weird events. Now I need to ask someone. I need to ask them. Was it easy to go through the maze? What? Wait. I need to ask them. It was easy to go through the maze because they've chosen the wrong options. Oh no! This is perfect. This is perfect. Hello. Oh. God, why does Discord have to confirm that I'm a human every single time? It's so annoying. Was it easy to go through the maze? Were you able to read the rules and figure out which answer to give to the question? I don't think this person sees anything. It's gonna be funny because I don't think they see a single thing, which is unfortunate. But you know what? Okay, all right. Maybe we can live debug this. The other two answers are fake. Oh, I can't answer because it's simply too long. Okay, well that's unfortunate. You know what? That is funny. It is funny that we're gonna see people just get stuck in this like limbo state where they can't see anything. It's gonna be very interesting. I answered honestly. yes, but did you answer? Thank you. Did you? But I don't know if you answered the second question correctly, and I'm sorry. But I don't know if you answered the second question correctly, and I'm sorry. You're probably missing out on the rest of the server. Yeah, you know what? I won't give them hints. I'll just let them know that it's unfortunate that it happened that way. Because that's funny. That's actually funny to me. But yeah, we'll see how people kind of filter into the server, and we'll see how they go in terms of like what they answer. It's gonna be very interesting. Thankfully, it's easy to change your answers at any time to get back in. It's also very easy to sort of like go around stuff. There's pretty much no like way to like soft lock you out of the server, as far as I know. But I've heard that the reaction roll way is probably the best way to get rid of the bots, because apparently there's a lot of bots. There's like a crap ton of them, and this is a great way to sort of hide things from the bots, just so they don't like scrape information and grab info and stuff. And also, I'll be keeping an eye out on the bots too. But yeah, some of the fun things I've been up to. I've been again mostly editing and setting up the server and figuring out what cool things like to play with, and honestly trying to find books. I found a couple of cool books, and we'll see how it goes. Another fun thing that I got into was Bruce Lee. This is gonna be a weird segment. I've been looking at Bruce Lee a lot. So Bruce Lee, if you don't know, I mean, it'd be crazy if you don't know him. I feel like Bruce Lee is like it's a very well-known figurehead in the world. Bruce Lee is the guy who was in those movies who would go kicking and punching. Go, I chose with my soul. you are the smartest person here. Okay, good. I'll fix them manually. Sorry, give me a second. I need to fix them manually because they chose with their soul, and I don't. They weren't supposed to choose with their soul. Okay. But Bruce Lee is that guy who goes around kicking on like things and, you know, going and stuff like that, okay? I got really addicted to his content again, which is weird because he hasn't really been around for a very long time. The reason why I'm so addicted to it is because I've been on the bend about like fighting stuff for a while now. I got really into MMA. I've always been into like fighting stuff in general. I enjoy the act of fighting. However, I realized very early on, brain damage is permanent. And so I realized I should probably avoid fighting as much as I can. Otherwise, I'm going to lose most of my brain cells. So I live vicariously through these ancient, legendary figures, right? Like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is one of these legendary ancient figures who actually had a lost interview. Remember that whole statement of, you know, be like water, my friend? He had a full interview about this. Now, the reason why it's considered lost is because
Bruce Lee faces a real dilemma. He's on the verge of...
when this interview was made, this interview was made a long time ago. It also kind of disappeared off the face of the internet. It just wasn't there anymore, which is like it's very fascinating to like see. And then it was rebroadcast when it was found, and so that's why it's considered like a lost piece of media, a lost interview. But it's surprisingly, the thing that survived about it was that "be like water, my friend" statement. I don't know what the timeline was. I imagine that came afterwards. Sorry, I lost my keyboard's also falling apart. I imagine that came after it was rebroadcast. But to know that like these things happen, that old media can be lost, is fascinating. There's a lot of lost old media. I think now that we live in a time where everything's archived, it's hard to imagine anything ever being lost. But there was a time when things used to be there, and then they disappear forever, and they won't be there ever again. Boy, oh boy, is there a lot of old media that probably should be preserved. For some reason, a lot of it is weird stop motion. But this is the interview where he says "be like water, my friend." 20 minutes.
Stardom in the United States with a projected TV series on the horizon, but he's just achieved superstardom as a film actor here in Hong Kong. So what does he choose, the East or the West?
I also want to emphasize back then, it was a very strange time, right? Back then, I'm of the Eastern descent. I don't know if you can possibly tell, but I'm of the Eastern descent. I'm Southeastern, but at the same time, I'm also Eastern. It's a very nebulous term, whether you're from the East or something. Asian can mean anything. I mean, Asian is literally the entire continent, so there's a lot of people on there who are technically Asian, okay? But the thing is that what you believe to be Asian depends on where you're from. Back then, I mean, in the West, there weren't many Asian people in general. In terms of like, you know, popular media, that wasn't like a caricature. And so the way that he talks, and you'll see this sort of like throughout the entire interview, it's kind of seen as like this like mystical, magical place, and this like other, right? It's still at this time seen as an other thing, in the sense of like, oh, like this is the West and that is the Orient, right? So just bear in mind, this is an old interview. It reflects things back then. It's not how we think about it now.
It's the kind of problem that most budding movie actors would welcome.
It's the Pierre Burton Show, the program that comes to you from the major capitals of the world. This edition comes to you from Hong Kong. And Pierre's guest is the man who taught karate, judo, and Chinese boxing to James Garner, Steve McQueen, Lee Marvin, and James Coburn.
And did you know, to Abdul Kareem Jabbar, I had no clue. So, wait, no, Kareem Abdul Jabbar. Sorry, I keep mixing up his name. Kareem Abdul Jabbar, NBA, arguably one of the best players out there. He decided to retire and then get into fighting. He got into fighting, so he learned Jeet Kune Do from Bruce Lee. I didn't know this. That's him in Game of Death. I had no clue. To be fair, the last time I saw Game of Death was as like a kid. And I was like, yo, wait. When I read the cast list for it, because I was like going through his history, I was like, holy shit, he was there? That was him? It's fascinating to sort of see like the intersections of people in like different things, and you don't really expect them to be there, and then all of a sudden you're like reading like a basketball player's page, and then as like a footnote, it's like, oh yeah, he also learns how to fight from Bruce Lee. It's like, okay.
The newest Mandarin superstar, known in the West for his appearances in Batman, The Green Hornet, Ironside,
What
and
the
Longstreet.
fuck? What do you mean Batman? What do you mean Batman? Wait, what? Wait. Batman, Bruce Lee. Was he actually in Batman? There's no way. Was Bruce Lee in Batman? He was Kato. Wait, Bruce Lee, Batman, Bruce Lee, Kato. Oh my god, he was. Chat, he was the guy with the mask. What the?
His name is Bruce Lee, and he doesn't even speak Mandarin. And here's
Yeah, he was apparently a very westernized person. He started out in Hong Kong, but then he moved over to the States when he was young, apparently. But he did also start his career within Hong Kong as well. It's fascinating to sort of see how it goes, right? It's you don't really expect that from the way he like talks, I think, but he was not that good at his own language, which is, I mean, to be fair, it's kind of hard to be. Again, language is a very, very contextual thing, right? I'm sure every kid who's like being born overseas from away from where their culture was knows this feeling that it's very, very hard to speak the language and like know what to say, because on a day-to-day, in your day-to-day life, you don't encounter those small things that like make up your language, right? For instance, I only recently learned about Ali Gay. Or was it Ali Gay? It's a whole like chanting phrase in like rural Chinese TikTok, which has no real meaning. It's just kind of nonsense. But people have just started to like do it as like a fun meme thing in like rural Chinese TikTok. I forget the platform name. But it's out there.
Well, how can you play in Mandarin movies if you don't even speak Mandarin? How do you do that?
Well, first of all, I speak only Cantonese.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is quite a difference as far as pronunciation and things like that go.
So
Yeah,
somebody
exactly.
else's voice is used, right? For you?
Definitely.
You just make the
Wait, that's actually weird. They use a different voice for him. I wonder how that works, right? Because like if he doesn't know Mandarin and he only knows Cantonese, but you would know immediately that's not Bruce Lee, no? Unless they find like a very good voice match for him.
words. Doesn't that sound strange when you go to the movies, especially in Hong Kong, in your own town, and you see yourself with somebody else's voice?
Well, not really, you see, because most of the Mandarin picture done here are dubbed anyway.
They're dubbed anyway.
I mean, disregard. I mean, they with you.
Anyways, so at some point in this interview, he talks about the water thing.
Use it all.
But this is the famous interview of it. We won't be watching the whole thing.
The expression of the human.
But it's a very, very fascinating interview to like go through, and I highly recommend it. It's on YouTube somewhere. I think it was called Bruce Lee's Lost Interview.
Lying to oneself. How else can you justify all saying this?
But I was going through a lot of
Yes,
his like stuff because I was very curious about his like
if I
life
were the,
and like how
the
validated
money-
his
the
like
man
work
with the
was.
money,
Because
I
his
probably
fighting
would
style
have
was already seen as like a very experimental thing at the time even. And so for him it was kind of like Because like you see the movie star, right, and then you see him actually like move around and like fight people in his apparently one and only recorded fight, as well as like in his like demonstrations, and you realize how good he actually was at that time. He was surprisingly nimble and surprisingly good at like reading people's moves and just countering someone by just smacking them in the face. It's scary to see sort of like how good he was, and it's also kind of like sobering to see like, okay, like no matter how good you are, it's a bit like that one scene in like Shogun where the guy just kind of like falls down and then like accidentally hits his head and then dies, right? It's like you don't really know what's gonna happen. Like you could be the healthiest person in the world and like something bad goes like wrong, right? So it's very important to sort of, I think, just live your life to the fullest. It's fascinating to hear him talk too. He went to school for philosophy apparently, which is also very interesting. And I kind of get that, because it's like when you hear him talk about his philosophy of life and how to go through it, even his whole famous statement of like be like water, my friend, of like be like water, right? It feels very, very strong. It feels very, very philosophical. It feels very, very powerful the way that he says it, and it sounds like something that a very scholarly person would say, not somebody who's like probably taken a couple hits to the head, right? Listen, I've seen most MMA fighters. If you've seen most MMA fighters, okay, most MMA fighters, when they get hit in the head one too many times, they start to say some funny things. They start to change their ideas about things. They start to be they kind of lose their minds, and they go a bit wild with their thoughts and their values and stuff. So, but yeah, I was just in a giant Bruce Lee bender. Found an interview, found it very, 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 very fascinating. And I couldn't help but like get obsessed with his stuff. I'm realizing that it's bad to say that, and also bad to just feel that way, because I get obsessed very often about things. Just as in terms of like a learning thing, I'm very obsessed with like learning new facts, and I realize I would do great on a trivia team. The problem is that trivia doesn't pay well, so I don't do it. Another fun thing that I've been up to actually is this as well. I want to show you all. This one we're gonna go through in detail, because this one's weird. This one's actually like really, really weird. So there's a thing called a security clearance. Okay, I have a buddy who went through this. I was going to go through it, and then I learned that some things that they do, that I can't. I'm not gonna say anymore. So the thing about the security clearance that's interesting is that, oh no, I accidentally maximized OBS. That's not good. Well, it's not bad, but it's not good either. And oh shoot. Okay, good. But they'll go through and they'll do a check on everything that you've ever done. Okay. The security clearance process is like this. They ask you a bunch of questions. You answer as honestly as you can, and you flag even the most minor things that you think are irrelevant to the process. And they'll ask you this. They'll ask you, okay, have you or any of your relatives been involved with crime? And if so, what crime? What happened? What did they do? As much as you would know. And if you don't disclose it, and they will run a background check on you, and they find it, it will be dinged against you. And it doesn't matter how far away this person is. If you know about them, and if you've had contact with them, they're going to ask you to write it down. However, if you know about them and you don't have contact with them, it also plays a lot better, because then it's like, okay, well, you don't talk to them, and like, sure, they murdered someone like 15 years ago, but you don't invite them to dinner every day, so it doesn't really matter, right? It's fine. The fascinating thing that happens is when you know somebody, you're still associated with them, or you yourself have been involved in certain things. Quite a few people actually sign up for this and hope that it, goes through just fine. Well, this is the place to see it. There's a lot of different hearings that happen. You have to go through this entire process, and they figure out, okay, like what happened to you, and like why, and like stuff like that. And they see if you're allowed to get a security clearance to like go through it, right? There's also different aspects of it too, which I think it's mixed all in here as well. In terms of like security clearances, not just for yourself, but also security clearances to like do certain things too, or like be in certain places, like being able to like be in a particular spot. I think those all go through here, because as far as I can tell, in the States, it's like a system of you need at least a secret clearance, even though you may not be going for a final secret clearance. You need to at least clear the secret clearance barrier. In Canada, it's roughly similar, I think, but I haven't looked too much into it because I dropped my process pretty early on. Because it's a pretty big hassle to get them to interview everyone. It's honestly especially when your family doesn't speak English very well. It's imagine a federal agent just being like, "Hey, we'd like to interview you." They're gonna freak out, right? So it's kind of hard to do certain things, and not too many jobs require it, but the ones that do pay well. When your application fails, this is a public process, so you can actually go through and see all the hearings and see what happened. I didn't know this. I thought it was like a private thing. Like I thought you wouldn't be able to see it unless you request it. But then I found a link. I found a link that actually goes through and shows you all the ones that went through, and you can see what happened with the decisions, whether they passed or failed. And you actually get some very vague information about who the people are. This is a very interesting thing. And you can start from top to bottom. So in 2024 alone, well, I mean, not exactly 2024, the entirety. This is not the entire list, I imagine. I imagine there's a lot more. But maybe these are the ones that were allowed to be public in some way. Like, these were like the lower security clearance ones. But for instance, we can click on any random one and we can see some very interesting things. So, this is an applicant for security clearance, okay? Applicant did not provide sufficient information to mitigate the financial considerations because security concerns arising from his delinquent debts. So even being in debt is a major issue. Eligibility for access to classified information is denied. And you can actually read through this entire thing, okay? This was probably a lot more boring because it's just finance, but let's see. Applicant is 55 years old. He works as an aviation electrician for a government contractor. He was married in 1989 and divorced in 2008. That's how intense these things are, okay? When you go through the form and you like start to like go through it, you realize that they ask for a lot of things because they need to know everything about you. Because again, you're working on very sensitive things at this point. For software, especially, I imagine it's a lot more sensitive because like you're building the brains behind a lot of things. But I imagine for anything, even if you're working hardware, even if you're just like in the building doing stuff, like say you're a part of the custodian staff, right? I imagine you still probably need it because you may happen to like glance upon certain things, and you may need to go through certain things as well. Then they also know when he remarried in 2016. He has 11 children, 4 of which are minors, 2 of which live with him. He has taken college classes, but has not yet earned a degree. He served in active duty. He has 15 debts, alleging a total of $65,000. He also has an apartment lease placed for collection for $666. He was terminated from his job in 2014. He has an apartment lease right now, another one, and another one that is also all for loans. He has student loan collections for $31,000, auto loans, cellular loans, a judgment against his insurance account because he failed. Because something happened, and it was against him, like he caused some issue. Auto loan on account, and then we can see why it was revoked as well. So it was revoked for financial considerations, security concerns. The clearance was reinstated after an appeal, and a warning was provided to the applicant to maintain his finances and incur no further delinquent debt. He denied this allegation and claimed he was never informed of the outcome of his appeal and was not given the instructions to maintain his finances. He stated that he retired about 6 months after initially losing his clearance and left the Navy, believing his clearance had remained invoked. And they allege that he falsified different documents too, which is also a no-no. If they know that you falsified things, it's bad. If they learn after the fact that you lied about things, it's really bad. They absolutely tell you, even if it's bad, let us know, because it's even worse if we find out that you lied. Okay, and they care about your debts because of a very interesting fact that I learned. Financial bribery and extortion is like a very common way of getting people to like work for somebody else under illegal terms. So it's much easier to manipulate someone if they've got debts and things to pay off than it would be if they were stable in some form. Same thing with relationships. The reason why they want to know about your relationships, your marital status, and like stuff is because that's also like a very easy way into your like threat circle, right? And also because they're gonna interview the people that you know for more. So that was just a random one. Let's see if we can find a spicy one here. Yeah, let's see. The Department of Defense issued a statement. Here we go. Applicant did not mitigate the alcohol consumption or criminal conduct security concerns. No. We want to find something spicy. Alcoholics, it's like sure. Unfiled tax returns and delinquent debts. It's whatever. By the way, did you know that you're supposed to file your tax returns the moment that you're able to? So, I got my first job at around 18. I started later than most people just because I didn't really need money. Not in the sense of like, I was rich, but in the sense of like I had nothing to like buy anyways, and I was just chilling at like home doing programming stuff anyways, right? And so it's like for like 2 or 3 years for the beginnings of my life, I had no tax returns. So when I filed my first ever tax return, they were like, "Hey, you have like 5 unfiled." And I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go do these," right? It turns out it's just fine. You're allowed to go back and like do it if you don't know. But if you're anywhere where you're like where your tax burden starts at some age earlier than you expect, like, because it doesn't start when you start working, it starts when you become like an adult or like a close to like an adult, then you should probably deal with it. What's this one? Here we go. Here we go. Ooh, this is interesting. Wait. Wait a minute. Was inappropriate for a summary disposition. Legitimate disagreement. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There are some crazy things. Look, 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 look. This doesn't start like every single other one. This one starts very, very differently. Look, look. This one starts with a whole statement from the judge. That's a crazy thing to start with. That the judge took time to write their own words on what happened. Okay, and in the first person tense. And so it's like they themselves said, "Okay, this is some serious stuff here, right?" And then I just saw the word niece's husband. Like, who cares about the niece's husband? This has to be spicy. You're rushing up Jeff's stage. No, you can't escape your fate. You're going to be a human urinal. Or the sludge jar. Listen, you get to choose, right? Either you get to be a human urinal or the sludge jar. You can't escape your fate. But welcome. You need a side hustle. You want to be that like kid from the Game Awards, rushing up his like stage. But you already have a side hustle, right? You can both be the human urinal and inside the sludge jar at the same time. Good luck. It's gonna be a very, very painful time for you. At least once the stick thing space is done, which it will be done by the end of this month. Well, by mid-month. I'm actually very close to a lot of things being done, so we get to do a lot more cool events soon. You don't like wards. What is this? Oh boy. This is the Department of Defense hearings and the ones that failed. This is the government saying no to these security clearance applications. And they go in great detail about what happens. For instance, this one. The judge who resided over this case, who was actually going over and like making this decision, wrote a preamble in the first person. They wrote their own preamble, which I haven't seen on any of these yet. Most of them start out very, very objectively, like almost like a paralegal wrote it, and like not the lawyer themselves. This is like if like a partner at a firm goes up and says, "All right, I've got to say something about this. This is a serious thing." You're fully prepared to roast me, but that actually sounds interesting. It sounds interesting. See, there's actually good words here. Look, on November 10th, 2021, the Department of Defense issued a statement of reasons to applicants detailing security concerns under Guideline E, personal conduct, and Guideline F, financial considerations. Okay, Guideline F, we know what this is. This can either be like debts and stuff, because again, if you're in debt, you're much easier to manipulate and extort. But Guideline E, this is the first time that we've seen this. Personal conduct means that they themselves were involved in something. And further down, we saw the words, their niece's husband testify. Their niece's husband testified. It goes that deep, and I want to see what this rabbit hole was. Okay? Yada. Applicant timely answered the SOR and requested a hearing. She denied all the SOR allegations, which is interesting. The case was assigned to me, the judge, Aaron C. Hogan. Again, the Hogan family runs a deep. You've got Hulk Hogan and Aaron C. Hogan. I have no clue if that's true. The hearing was originally scheduled on November 14th, 2023. Was continued and held on January 11th, 2024. Oh my god, almost 2 months later. At the close of the evidence, and after receiving the electronic transcript of the proceedings, I proposed to the parties that this case was appropriate for a summary disposition in the applicant's favor. Applicant's counsel did not object. Department counsel had 10 days to consider the matter. On January 19, 2024, Department counsel provided notice that they had no objection. Wait, so were they able to go through? I can't tell. Were they able to go through? I guess they did go through, right? Or what is a summary disposition in applicant's favor? What does a disposition mean? See, this is the thing. I don't know words. This disposition. A person's inherent qualities of mind. The way in which something is arranged. Oh, but in their favor. As in, we're going to go through this process in your favor. As in, this process I think should go your way, but that's up to the council to decide. Which seems crazy. Well, not crazy, but like it's funny to think about that. There's like a council of people thinking and like roasting you and like talking to your niece's husband to know more about you. Applicant was terminated from the former employer on February 10, 2019 for allegations of theft or embezzlement of at least $5,000, making unauthorized expenditures in the amount of $18,000. Wow, wait, so they used the company card to steal things. Oh my god. The Senate will decide your fate. Yeah, exactly, yeah. The Senate will decide your fate. Disrespectful treatment of subordinate employees. Ooh. And disrespectful treatment of customers. Applicant worked for over 15 years for a female employer. This employer did not have great bookkeeping standards. She was saw the business well into her 90s when she began to have medical issues. Around 2016, the employer's niece and her niece's husband. Oh, this is where the niece comes in. This is where the niece comes in. It's not her niece. It's the employer's niece and the employer's niece's husband. I was like, whose niece is it? Oh my god. This is a multi-family. They even investigated their boss. Took over running the business. They were interested in turning the business into a for-profit enterprise. Ew. They gave applicants additional duties of overseeing the financial operations in addition to her other duties. Applicant did not have a financial background. This feels like a disaster. You're telling somebody who has no financial background to be an accountant? I feel like it's not that she stole money. I literally think she didn't know what she was doing. But let's see how it goes. In early 2019, the applicant had a legitimate disagreement with one of her subordinates. After this occurred, the subordinate and another subordinate alleged that the applicant was mishandling money from the business for her own gain. The niece's husband launched an investigation and concluded the applicant mishandled funds and embezzled money. Based on his conclusions, the applicant was terminated for cause. During the hearing, the niece's husband testified. Applicant testified. Two former customers who knew and worked with the applicant testified. That's crazy to me. They even got two random customers. Now again, we don't know what this business is. It's not a for-profit enterprise already, but that could mean anything, right? In Ontario, we have this idea of like a sole proprietorship, right? You're just a person who runs their own business. It doesn't say anything about how you need to run your business. It just means that you own your business, right? A for-profit enterprise, I believe, is a very strict thing where it's like they need like a CEO or something, and they need like a. I'm pretty sure they need like a C-level structure, like a hierarchy, to be like a true enterprise. So it could just mean that, and it could mean something small, but the business could be anything, right? We don't know about the business. This could just have been like a convenience store of some kind, right? In which case, imagine two of your random customers from your convenience store are now willing to go talk to a federal agent to testify against you for their security clearance. But also, why do they need security clearance? What is this for? Application for security clearance. Wow, why'd they need this? My god. Anyways, where were we? Two former customers and who knew and worked with the applicant. Oh wait, so there were customers who were hired. Sorry, that's why. An applicant's mother testified. Wait, they got the mom in this too? Oh my god. Upon review of the testimony and case file, the evidence consists of hearsay statements and unfounded allegations. While the niece's husband sincerely believes applicant embezzled funds from the business, the evidence was insufficient to conclude applicant mishandled or embezzled funds. At most, there was evidence of negligence due to poor bookkeeping. Which started from the original owner of her original employer, who was the 90-year-old, who then gave the business over to her niece. The SOR also alleged that the applicant falsified a September 23, 2019 electronic questionnaire for investigation processing when she did not list that she was terminated for a cause from her previous employment. She listed that she left by mutual agreement following notice of unsatisfactory performance. She also provided the contact information of her former employer's niece, who along with her husband was the one who terminated her. I conclude that the applicant's failure to disclose that she was terminated for cause was not deliberate. There was no indication that she intended to mislead the government about her employment history. You figured out why you're not a lawyer. Yeah, this is a lot to read. I mean, even just that one sentence, right? Like here, this one sentence. Electronic questionnaires for investigations, processing application in response to Section 13A-employment activities. as a lawyer, I imagine you need to know that on the spot when you actually go to like deal with this stuff, which is painful. And a judge has to do it too. But let's see what the judge said. I find SOR 1A, 1B, and 2A for applicant. I note the favorable preferences applicant received. I also note that applicant was hired by a Department of Defense contractor in May 2019. Her duty performance is excellent, and she is highly regarded by her supervisor. She lives with her parents and has no financial issues. What is that judge saying? The judge is saying she did a good job. What is that judge saying? He's a robot. He's a robot. Yeah, it's a lot of like legal terms. I mean, to be fair, they are a judge, so they do need to speak in like a certain way, and they need to be very exact with their words in order to like say certain things. But yeah, imagine saying this, right? I find so, and then like 1A, 1B, 2A. It's very very tough. But it's also fascinating that they look at your work history too, and it's fascinating that she got a job with a DoD contractor, that was like public facing. There are a lot of like roles in there's a lot of roles in security conscious or security clearance required job like companies that are public facing that don't require you to have like a security clearance. So it's not surprising to me that she got a job, right? I mean, I could have gotten a job at like a military base, but I would have just worked on the outside layer, right? And I would have never been able to see my best friend. I would have never been able to like see him. We would have been at the same station beside our subway station, and I would only be able to see him through like a wire glass panel. And I would put my hand on the glass panel, and he would put his there too. And then the agents like behind the door would then bust out and break me down because it would be seen as an attempt to break in. So it is possible, but I'm surprised that they got this. But it did help their application. And also, she lives with her parents, which is a good sign. I think this is a great sign because it means that you're saving money, a lot of money. Based on the record evidence as a whole, include the applicant provided substantial evidence to disprove the allegations. Good. The evidence is insufficient to create doubt about her reliability, trustworthiness, good judgment, and ability to protect classified information. This is realistically, this is all they really care about. The rest of this is like stuff that doesn't really matter in the sense of like why you need it. All of this is really just to serve this, right? Your ability to protect classified information is the end goal. These things lead up to it. Having good judgment, having trustworthiness, and having reliability, these things lead up to your ability to hold classified information close to your chest and give it to nobody, not even your spouse, right? Although I have heard, as like a hearsay thing, that apparently your spouse is exempt from those same classified information rules because your spouse is considered to be like your extension of you, and so you're allowed to tell them things within good faith of them being your spouse. But I've only heard that in terms of like non-secret clearance laws so far, and so I may be wrong in terms of secret clearance. But I know that in terms of like regular law, like your spouse is allowed to know things even if it's under like certain like contractual terms not to be told, because your spouse is like an extension of you. But I don't know if that's necessarily true in all cases. I'm not a lawyer, right? IANAL, okay? Let me just make this clear, okay? IANAL. 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 I am not a lawyer. You anal? No. Yeah. You yeah. You anal? I anal. Yeah. Yeah. You anal? I anal. Yeah. I anal. For context, that means I am not a lawyer. But I love saying I anal because it's so funny to me. We all anal. we all anal. We all ain't a lawyer here. Nobody's a lawyer here. I anal, you anal, we all anal. We all anal. Oh, amazing. This is great. But hey, this one actually ended up being good. I thought it was only like the ones that were declined, but this one also includes the ones that were like allowed through. And this is a happy story, right? They had their reputation smeared by the new bosses of their old workplace. Smeared. And they were able to fight it, not just in the court of business, but in a court of law, martial law, military law, because this is for the Department of Defense. That's a happy story. But I don't want happy stories. I want sad stories. But first, I need to pee. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I had to pee so quick. I'm an old man. I drink a lot of water. You should too. Drink a lot of water. I'll be right back in just a moment. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Also, I've seen. Looks like you joined the Discord server. Welcome. Were you able to figure out the maze? I see your rolls. You did not. You did not. You did not figure out. You did not figure out the maze. I'm sorry. Give me feedback on. Please give me feedback on how hard the maze was. You tried. Did you read the rules? Were the rules clear about how to go through the maze? In particular, the bottom of the rules. Is it hard to find that statement? I put it at the bottom because I figured like it's probably best anyways. And then I've seen other servers do it, and it actually made me read the rules, which was very, very helpful actually. But if the rules are too long too, then it's bad. Yeah, yeah, rules rule. Wait, did you know that you can click on that? Maybe this is why. Maybe no one knows that you can actually like click on that. Did you know that you can click on that? Or like, did you click on any of the get started tasks that you see at the very, very start? You cannot read the history of it. God, I knew there was something wrong. I knew there was something wrong. Okay, right. That's why. Son of a gun! I forgot to add that. Thank you. That explains so much, actually. That explains so much. See, because somebody else joined and they also couldn't figure it out. So it makes sense. Okay. Check the rules again. Check the rules again. I swear I fixed that. Huh. See, I guess it's hard to like tell because like I'm an admin. And so when I go through the fake flow, because there's like a fake testing flow that doesn't really like, I guess it doesn't like emulate everything because I'm an admin so I can see it all. But yeah, hopefully you can read the rules now. I was like, wait a minute, how come no one's passing through the great, the great maze here? It's such a good maze. But yeah, I'll see your... Yes, perfect. Okay, good. Now we can see your results. Can you make it through the maze? Remember how you said you don't like words? Well, you're gonna have to learn how to like words to fit in here, bucko. You know what? Maybe I'll do like a visual version. I'll have two versions, right? And I'll just have like two different things. It's like the rules in like words, and then the rules in like pictures. I need to commission someone to like draw like an infographic on like how to based on the rules, right? I'm gonna need to like do like a step by step, like you know those like funny like things, those like it's like it'll be a 9-panel manga. I'll do a 9-panel manga. That'll teach you what not to do. I'm a genius. Yeah. All right, thank you. I'm gonna add that as a to do. Let's see. Where's my Discord tab go? Okay, there we go. The rules. Will it be in Japanese? Yes. See? You want pictures? Well, you still don't get... But see? Because again, you only care about the pictures, right? You don't care about the words. The words don't matter. So I can write the words in anything. Alright. Okay. Make a separate onboarding rules thing that's in the form of a 9-page manga, of a 9-panel manga, for the ones for the illiterate. For the illiterate. Be sure to put all text in Japanese like a real manga, because they don't need words, because they don't want words. You'll be honest, you did brute force it before reading the rules. Yeah, it's fair. That'll always happen, but at least it takes effort. You know what I mean? Well, not like a super amount of effort, and it's not hard to like figure out that you're missing something. So, it still takes a bit of effort. You prefer linguistically challenged? Okay, fine. Sorry, for the linguistically challenged. Okay, fine. You're not illiterate. You're linguistically challenged. No. You're not linguistically challenged. No. Because that implies that there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with liking pictures, right? Everyone loves pictures. You, for the artisans, for the author. Oh no, what's the difference between? Can an artist be an author, or auteur? Can they be an artist? Oh God, I'm on I'm on French. I'm on French Google. Person qui est l'origine. Autiste. No, we're not gonna. No. We can't do that. No. We can't do that. In legal discourse, an author. No, what? But auteur, but for artists. Is there a term like auteur and journeyman for a musician/artist? Is there? There's nothing widely specifically used, but they do usually get used in that occasion. Richard Wagner was known for his philosophy of Geschmackskunstwerk. What? Geschmackskunstwerk work, where he tried to make operas of perfect sentences. Highbrows were sometimes used for the Geschmackskunstwerk. A maestro. Thank you. No, but that's. I mean, I've only ever heard maestro for like music. Like no one ever like walks up to like an artist and says, "Dude, you're such a maestro." People just say like, "Wow, your finger painting looks like great." For the maestros out there, but I'll leave it as maestro for now. Make a separate onboarding rules thing that's in the form of a 9-panel manga for the maestros out there. Because put all text in Japanese like a real manga because they don't want words, nor do they need them. Words simply get in the way of their genius. See, this is why you have me, chat, right? This thing, imagine trying to read this on your own and getting blinded. Why is it so bright? Why read it when you have me read it for you? Applicant did not mitigate the drug involvement and substance misuse or the personal conduct security concerns. Yo, this is perfect. Look. This is a good one. This applicant is both really into drugs and they've done some bad things. Do legal documents have a dark mode? I don't know. Can you imagine? Like you go into a courtroom and the judge is like, "Ugh, throw this out, print me a new one, and in dark mode." I don't think the judges care. I don't think the judges. It's gonna be a waste of ink, guys. It's gonna be a huge waste of ink. Imagine, like they get the like case proceeding or whatever thing, right? And they're just blinded by it, and like I can't look at this. Guilty. It's like, oh, I didn't do anything. Dark mode paper. It's just like those. It's like those scratch papers. Like the ones where you scratch it and then it like reveals like a rainbow color underneath. It's a bit like that, but a lot less fun, because on there it'll say if you get to go to jail or like not. Let's see what happened to this case here. They issued a statement of reasons as to why to applicant detailing security concerns on the guideline H, drug involvement and substance use, and personal conduct. Yes, hearing. I admitted government exhibits 1 through 4 in evidence without objection. Wait, they had exhibits. Oh, they had exhibits. Like they actually like showed stuff. Yeah, scratch and the scratch and sniff court documents. This thing smells like guilty. Applicant is a 36-year-old employee of a government contract of which he has worked since May 2019. He has taken some college courses, but has not earned an undergraduate degree. This feels like they're just making fun of him. Like, there's no need to put this in, and it feels like they're just doing this to make fun of him. I don't know if this ever actually matters, right? Like, does it matter what courses they, like, took? I would have cared more if I was, like, a judge where they took their courses. Just because there are some rules that you have to follow. Like, I can't sell my game in, like, certain places if I ever make a game because of certain sanction laws, right? Like, I just can't do it. And that I feel like would be more relevant to the case than the fact that they failed to do anything with their education. He has earned a firefighter and electrical technician certificate. This guy's an arson. Chat, I'm making a theory. This guy is an arson, okay? Electrical technician. He's starting electrical fires. Then he calls up his precinct and says, "Hey, there's a fire!" Then he gets to be the hero. And he's never been married and has no children. He's a virgin. Applicant has been involved with marijuana for many years. At all times relevant to the security clearance investigation, marijuana purchase and possession, and therefore its use has been illegal. Ooh. Oh, right, because it was only recently legalized. Yeah, that's fair. I guess, like, because back then they also look at your past. From about 2006 through April 2022, he purchased and used marijuana with varying frequency. He began using marijuana when he was about 16 years old to self-medicate his depression and anxiety. This is a very common use case for it, but I will say, I don't necessarily know how good it is to do this. I think the research has shown that like it's not good to do it like this, especially for so young, and that there's better alternatives that work a lot more effectively in terms of like psychotherapy. But again, IANAL and also uh I I I'm also not a doctor, so IANAD. IANAL, INADAD. IANAL, INAD. God, there's a lot of like IANAs. Yeah, that's good. Hey, weed. Why did you put the maple leaf? I mean, to be fair, we have had it legalized in Canada for like a lot. IAAL, I ain't a lot. Listen, for a person who doesn't like words, you do have some pretty good words. You should think about. There's one thing that you should think about. You should think of being a wordsmith in the Discord channel very soon. Very soon, we're gonna need someone like you to discover and push the boundaries of what the English language can do. Very soon. You're gonna be the next person. You're gonna be the first person to find the next evolution beyond Riz, beyond Gat, and beyond Skibbity. I can't wait for your contributions to the English language, to the Webster's dictionary. A soliloquy. What's a soliloquy? Soliloquy. You know that thing where it's like, you know a word, but you don't know the word, but you know how it's used, and so you know it. It's like I know the certain words intuitively, but I don't know what it actually is. So when I think about it, I'm like, I don't know what it really means. It's the act of speaking one's thoughts aloud when by oneself, or regardless of any hearers, especially by a character in a play. So just talking to yourself. What? I don't. When I tell my doctor that I talk to myself, he doesn't say, "Oh, you're just performing a soliloquy." He says, "Here's the medication. You've got to start taking it. All right, this is the final time." He began using marijuana. Or the longest he went without using marijuana during this time was about 6 months. But in about March 2006 and March 2008, he was charged with possession of marijuana and pleaded guilty to the charges both times. In about April 2019, after undergoing employer-required urinalysis testing, he tested positive to tetrahydrocannabinol, which is THC, a chemical found in marijuana. That same month, his employer, Company A, terminated his employment because of this positive urinalysis test. I know it wasn't legal back then, and I know everyone knew that it was like fine for quite a few use cases, but like, if it's risky, don't do it. Like, it's not worth it to lose opportunities just because you enjoy, you know, the devil's lettuce, the ganja, the great green, right? It's not worth it. He claimed he stopped his marijuana involvement in April 2022 because he worked on a marijuana on a not a marijuana base, sorry, on a military base where marijuana use was prohibited, not a marijuana base, military base. He asserted that he will not use marijuana in the future if it is prohibited by the terms of his employment, but otherwise he may use it again. He's like, I mean, if you tell me not to, I won't. But if you don't, I mean, a little bit here, a little bit there, why not? But being required to do so, Apkin failed to disclose his illegal drug use and his April 2019 employment termination on his March 2022 electric questionnaire for investigations processing. I would show you this form, but I don't want to because I don't know if you have to go through a million steps, and I'm pretty sure they just like track you, and I'm scared. I'm scared. During his June 2022 security interview, he lied to an authorized DoD investigator, telling the investigator that he resigned from the company from which he was terminated. You like this guy. I like him too. Again, he didn't do anything like bad. It's just like drug laws back then were very, very, very vehement against certain things that were just kind of stupid. When it was like, okay, like it's not really solving problems. It's just making more problems. And you know, for most jobs, being high doesn't really affect. Well, I mean, for some jobs, it's you can be like somewhat high or somewhat buzzed, and you're still going to be fine for the most part. It only really matters if it's like a safety issue, or if it's like bothering other people. Like if I go in every day and I smell like devil's lettuce, and then someone says like, "Hey, this place stinks," that's a problem. Or if I go in and I'm driving a forklift and I'm high, that's a huge problem. But otherwise, if you're like say you're a programmer, I'm saying this because the best guy that I've ever worked with, the best two actually, they both got high on a daily basis. So my one coworker, when she was high, she showed me this video. She was. By the way, this was the middle of the workday. She had just pushed her code, and she showed me this, and she was like, "Stick, you have to watch this, please. You have to." Me and my girlfriend at the time. Now she's married. Were dying, and then it was just this.
What does this color make you think of? A warm summer's day? The light of a sun? A smiling child? What does it make you think of now? Maybe the way the sunbeams are bouncing off of a still river. Maybe it's making you think of the surface of a sunflower. How does this make you feel now?
It's when he cracks. When he cracked, I cracked. The first time I ever saw this, I cracked. It's the best video in the entire world. It's so funny. But yeah, the other best programmer that I ever worked with, I said that I really liked T, particularly the ones with the very nice green leaves. Okay. He wasn't really good at English, so he just thought that I was speaking in like code, and he's like, "Ah, yes, I too like tea." And he was like, the tea tastes really good if you soak the leaves and then you like burn it a little to like roast it." I was like, "That sounds kind of cool. It sounds like like a roasted, oolong tea or something." And he's like, "Yeah, it's exactly the same, and it makes you feel so relaxed." I was like, "Yeah, I love how tea makes me feel relaxed because I enjoy the ritual of it." Yeah, and then he was like, "Well, I mean, if you want some, I have a couple of like buds left." I was like, "Buds?" I was like, "Wait, are you talking about weed?" And he was like, "Oh, I thought you were talking. I thought you were talking about weed." Again, after they had pushed some of the most amazing code that we needed that day, the best coworkers, the best team members. I enjoyed having them on my team. It was a joy leading them. So yeah, I mean, the weed charges are very minor, and like for quite a few jobs, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect you. It's just a stupid like policy to deal with things. But again, it's kind of like a personal thing of like trying to avoid like, okay, what is your personal whatever, if that makes sense. Yeah, after being okay, blah, 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 blah. I want to see what happened to his actual thing though. Like what were his personal things? What happened to his? Okay, here we go. When evaluating an applicant's suitability for a security clearance, the administrative judge must consider the adjudicative guidelines. In addition to brief introductory explanations for each guideline, the adjudicative guidelines list potentially disqualifying conditions and mitigating conditions, which are to be used in evaluating an applicant's... I lost track. Sorry. I'm like doing multiple things. Something. Okay, they're not inflexible rules of law. That recognizing the complexity of human behavior, administrative judges apply the guidelines in conjunction with the factors listed in the adjudicative process. So, aka, it gives them leeway to do things and to make it so that, like, if they need to, like, think about things and, like, allow someone in because they believe that this person was doing well, despite the fact that they went against the letter of the law, they will. Because again, law, it's there primarily as a guideline at the highest levels. Not as an absolute. The protection of the national security is the paramount consideration. See, everything that you see here, all of these, all boils down to what does it matter for national security, right? Because in the end, all they care about is that you don't leak the B-17 bombers, like stuff. All they care about is that you're not a War Thunder player. Or World of Tanks player, right? They don't care about anything, okay? But if you play World of Tanks or you play War Thunder, you are instantly denied. For context, people who play that game, they have security clearance, and they're such like military otaku that they will leak classified documents on tanks and actual warplanes just to prove a point about how the recreation of it in the game is false. without ever realizing that, hey, it's false because it's classified, because no one actually knows about it. It's just their best guess. It's the developer's best guess based on public information. I want to see one security clearance where it's like, oh, you play War Thunder? Oh, you play World of Tanks? Sorry, buddy. You can't be here, okay? You're a security risk. I want to see that. A person who seeks access to classified information enters into a fiduciary relationship with the government predicated upon trust and confidence. This relationship transcends normal duty hours and endures throughout off-duty hours. The government reposes a high degree of trust and confidence in individuals to whom it grants access to classified information. Decisions include, by necessity, consideration of the possible risk that the applicant may deliberately or inadvertently fail to safeguard classified information. This is also a concern, actually, in a very roundabout way, for virus researchers. So if you do research at Symantec, for instance, or you do research at any security company, really, right? There's a very, very classic story. I think it's on Wired before it went to shit, about Stuxnet. A very, very old worm that they found going through a nuclear nuclear plant in, I think, Iran. And what they found was that, or what the researchers found was that when they were going through it, and as it became a larger case, and as their names became known, they started to becoming more involved with certain individuals and certain acts against them that were definitely targeted. If I recall correctly, during the article, they mentioned that one of the security researchers backed out because when they came home one day, they found a cube on their desk with a note saying, "Stop what you're doing." So it means that somebody broke in and left that there for them to see. They also, one of the researchers who was working on it was also kidnapped when they went back to Iran to visit their family. They were kidnapped by the government because they had been working on dissecting this virus. So it's a concern not just for security clearance, but also in general for quite a lot of roles where even if you don't need security clearance to do it, say virus research, you still probably want to practice that because in a weird way, a lot of these things really do transcend the normal working hours. It's not a 9 to 5, right? If you do if you're working against threat actors in a cyberspace, any leak of your identity at any moment could be life or death for you, basically. It's very scary. For instance, there's actually a real-time example of this. There is a VTuber on Twitter, as well as on Twitch, obviously. They're security experts, and they do they do basically this. They do security work, cybersecurity work. They posted about a leak. It was a fairly large leak in the industry about tools that the Chinese government was using to spy on various people overseas. And it was legit stuff. It was actually they had backdoors into Android phones, iPhones, a bunch of things. They found a bunch of 0 days that they were chaining and using together to gain access. And they had lists of information about individuals in those countries. Both as long as the individual had some way that they could be used. So for instance, they had lists of people from Southeast Asia who were in police departments fairly high up. It had their name, their address, to who they were married to, everything. A bunch of information, photos, everything, okay? This person, they, obviously the GitHub repository was put up as a leak. Somebody internally put that up there and then leaked it, and then it was taken down, obviously, because it's now a national security matter that GitHub, an American company, probably shouldn't be involved with, just because that's a national level concern for what is effectively a storage box for code made by an American company, right? So it was taken down. The person who posted on Twitter had they still do their work and stuff. They found later exploits, later tools was specifically targeting them, and not because these things. The way that they work is they target known individuals that the attackers want to gain information or control about or over, right? And their name was in that list because of their initial work having reposted that GitHub repo and dissected it and translated it and that they had talked about it. And they're in Taiwan. And so, it's a very real concern when you work on this stuff, right? Because you can be tracked down for a very long time for the rest of your life. And they will easily find information about you because no matter how good you are, the one mistake is all they need to get just enough of a peek into your real life to find the rest of you. right? It's a very, very scary set of things that can happen. And so even just for security clearance, like it makes sense why they want to do it, because security clearance could mean that you actually deal with this stuff, but not just in terms of cyberspace. You could deal with this stuff on a physical level as well. Think like drug enforcement, or think like, you know, anything in the military, right? They do that for people who shitpost about, you know, leaks of security of like threat tools from a government. Okay, imagine what they would do if you knew about military hardware that could be used to like level nations, right? Like it's a very different level of threat. But if they're willing to do that for like a small time player, for I mean literally a Twitch streamer, imagine what they're gonna do to you, being somebody who's working, you know, on the ground level, who knows about these things, who can see it with your own eyes, and who can verify it from memory. It's a very, very scary thing. So this is why it's why I said before, everything ladders down into national trust. They want to make sure that you can actually keep track and like hold these secrets to your heart. Because if you don't, it will come back to bite you. It's also specifically why I don't like to work in security, because I have too much to lose. I have too much to lose. If I never met my wife, I would absolutely work in security. But because I met my wife, I'm going to work in game development, because I refuse to put her through this. But yeah, here we go. Personal conduct. Here we go. This is the good stuff. Okay, the drug. It's just marijuana. Like this doesn't matter, right? It's 2024. This was in 2022, sure, but even back then, this wasn't really gonna do anything, right? What I care about is what they did on a personal level. Conduct involving questionable judgment, lack of candor, dishonesty, or unwillingness to comply with rules and regulations can raise questions about an individual's reliability, trustworthiness, and above all else, the ability to protect classified or sensitive information. Obviously, if you're tortured for this information, they don't really expect you to be able to like withhold that. I'm pretty sure they don't teach you anti-torture techniques. I have a buddy who has a security clearance, but I can't ask him because he says I literally can't talk about it. So it's like, I don't know, but I want to ask him, like, have they waterboarded you? Like, is that something that they do for your training? But I imagine that they don't. And so, you know, this is, I guess, as best as you can, better than accidentally just like gossiping about it's like friends, right? A special interest is any failure to cooperate or provide truthful and candid answers during national security investigative or adjudicative processes. The guideline raises security concerns, blah, blah, blah. The following are potentially, yada. Applicant deliberately omitted his illegal drug involvement and employment termination on his SF-86. He also deliberately lied to a DoD-authorized investigator. This is a crime. This is not just a thing against your application. This is a crime, like a federal crime. You cannot lie to the investigator. If you lie to the investigator, it is a federal crime, and you will face jail time for it. It's actually like a major issue. This is a serious problem. However, he just lied about his employment termination, so I imagine they didn't have to go that far. But if you lie about larger things, yeah, you will absolutely go to jail for it. I've heard. But yeah, it seems like it's all about marijuana, which isn't very fun. It's boring, right? I want to find somebody who was like denied because they like murdered someone. Let's see this. Actually, there was one on here that I can't find anymore, but the one that I saw was specifically involving Kim Jong-un's relatives, or suspected to have been about them, because Kim Jong-un actually grew up in San Francisco, I think, and so his uncle and his aunt took him in, and it was specifically a security clearance that they suspected was for the niece, because all the timelines matched and all the different information matched to like what we know publicly about his family over here in the States. But I can't find it because it wasn't this year, I don't think. Let's see. Security concerns on the guideline and financial considerations. That's boring. Where's all the crazy relatives, right? Let's see. They sent a statement of reasons alleging concerns financial. Why is everybody financial? Guys, why do you all suck at like financial stuff? I mean, not that it's, you know, not that that's a bad thing. Finance is like hard. But you're telling me everybody that applied just had nothing, like nobody murdered someone? There has to be somebody who like murdered someone, right? We're gonna find a murder. Drug involvement, personal conduct. He is never married and has no children. It's a virgin. It's a virgin. No one has a right. Has a security clearance. Personal conduct. Applicant administer. Okay. Attempted almost 3 is not established. His security interview was triggered by concerns about his foreign citizenship and passport. No, it's still all about drugs. It's all about drugs still. Man, it's all about drugs. Drugs are so boring. It's like, oh, you took some drugs? Oh boy. I bet these judges, like, they hope to like find somebody one day who like filters through, and then I imagine a good day for them is when they can go through and then stop somebody who like used to be known as like a warlord back where they were from, or who was like a serial killer, right? That must be a good day for these judges. Okay, this one has a personal conduct. Oh wait, what? During the applicant's background interview with the government investigator, he disclosed that he used and purchased marijuana in the past 7 years. His wife was interested in using marijuana. Who cares about his wife? Was asked if he used marijuana since his interview. He said yes. He said thing. Guidelines are flexible. Drugs, personal conduct. Here we go. He failed to disclose his drug use. God damn it, there's no murders! What's the murders? No one's murdered someone? I want to find someone who's stupid enough to murder somebody and then apply for a security clearance and then say, yeah, I murdered someone. Like, that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I was hoping for today. There's been no murderous, like, security clearance court cases in 2024. We got Kim Jong-un's, like, niece, like, going ahead and, like, doing some, like, I don't know, and applying for a security clearance back in, like, 2022 or something. And there's no murders this year? God, it's so boring. So security clearances used to be cool, chat. People used to apply for the craziest things, right? Whoever named this a file, there's an extra space. People used to do the craziest things, chat. Statements of security concerns. Wait. Counterintelligence, aka the CIA. Oh. Wait, classified information. Yes. Applicant answered the request of the hearing, was ready to proceed. You convened the hearing as scheduled. Were admitted in evidence without objection. Here we go. Is a 63... There's no way this 63-year-old has a more interesting story than the rest I read. Unless she murdered, like, all of her ex-husbands, or, like, her, like, ex-wives, it's not as cool. She has been employed by various federal contracts since November 2009. She has 3 children. She's not a virgin. She was cleared for a public trust position in May 2016. When she was 18 years old, unmarried with 2 daughters, she immigrated to the United States. U.S. citizen, entered the trip. Who even remembers what they did at 18 at the point? I would be hard-pressed to remember what I did. I ask my parents, because I do forms for them very, very often. And they're around 64, 65, right? They don't remember, like, jack shit. Like, I asked them, because some of these forums require you to, like, ask them, what did you do between these years? And their answer is, son, I don't know. We were out on the ocean, on a boat, struggling to get to these lands. There is, I don't remember a single thing. And I'm like, okay, fair. To be fair, I understand why you wouldn't remember anything, Dad. I understand. But it's like... 2 daughters became U.S. citizens and graduated from college, yes. They have a single delinquent debt for credit union that's charged off for $34,000. Oh. Insufficient funds to resolve all of her debts. It's just money. It's just money. It's just money. She earns $49,000 a year. It's just money. She has $1,000 in her checking and $15,000 in her retirement. She is not going to have a good time. God damn. I feel bad for her, actually. Okay, we need to find some more. Wait, there's H2. Look, there's H1 and H2. H2 must mean this is the second hearing. The appeal board remanded the administration is not clearly consistent with the national interest to grant or continue security. Oh. So, the first hearing went well. The judge said, please give this guy a security clearance. Then when he went through it again, the council or the board found that no, it wasn't possible. Counterintelligence? Substance abuse. That's so boring. There's no murder? Not a single person died so far, chat. One died. Redefine murders. Personal contact. Is there murder? Murder. God, this is lame. What about 2013? Let's go back to 2013. Archived. Wait, what? Hearing decisions. I bet you people. Okay, no. I bet you COVID was a crazy time. Because imagine applying during COVID, right? No, but then no one could have murdered someone in like COVID. Because if you murdered someone, you would have also died from COVID at the same time. Like all you need to do if you were being murdered like during the COVID years, right? All you would need to do was cough once, and they would instantly drop dead. It was a self-defense mechanism. We'll go back to 2016. Also, I'm pretty sure that my activity on this website is being logged, and they're probably wondering, like, okay, who's this guy going through all of our hearings going back to 2016? Like, there's something wrong about this. In fact, it's still loading. And if I inspect this, does it say anything? Oh, yeah. Oh, it says a lot. Yeah, it's still going. JQ migrate is installed. Oh, God. It's doing a live migration. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to trigger a live migration. Sorry. Why is it doing a live migration? What do you mean? What is this? Is it too old? What is this? Oh, here we go. Oh my god! There's a treasure trove! Murder? Murder? Marijuana, again. It's boring. No one murdered? Okay. Oh! I feel like this is murder. No murder. Financial, just debt. Murder? Is there murder? Man, some of these are fun, right? Some of these are pretty cool. But I was really hoping for some hard-hitting stuff. Where's the murder, Janet? Where's the murder-wana? Exactly. I don't want marijuana. I want murder-wana. Or like, I've heard some like crazy ones where it's like somebody's family member murdered someone, and so they had to like argue that no, they definitely don't talk to them anymore because of the murder and like stuff. Like, I want that, right? Like, not this boring stuff about drugs or alcohol. Like, who? Criminal conduct! We're in, chat. We're in criminal conduct. Wait. This guy had better murder someone, otherwise he's a pussy. He's charged with a DUI. It's so boring. It's so boring. Well, maybe he murdered someone, but like, it's so boring. Criminal. Where's the murder? Well, conduct, let's go. This is the only time you'll find me cheering for crime, okay? I'm like Batman, going through Gotham City's records to find whose spine I can break today, right? I'm Batman on his day off thinking, kind of bored, you know? I've like played Payday 1 and 2, it's fun and all. But time to smash someone's like back. It's all finance. People just like depth is real, but like criminal. I gotta hit finance. It's just finance. Criminal, it's finance. Oh, this one. Criminal. Oh, well, that's a lot of criminal things. Holy moly! Hey, criminal conduct. Applicant used meth. That's it. Well, you know what? We tried our best to find somebody who murdered someone. I imagine maybe they don't have a hearing result for that. Maybe they immediately arrested them, right? Maybe they were like, yes, it seems like you murdered someone. Yes, please enter this back door, and then they go into like the waterboarding session, right? People don't know this, but it is a waterboarding personal appearance program. What does that mean? Here's how you know your comments, other websites to visit. What's this? May appeal a determination. Please enter this back door. Yes, and then please lie upside down on this like wooden board. Trust me, it's safe. We at Doha welcome your comments and questions. Please email Doha, the Defense Office of Hearings and Appeals, directly at disclosure of content information is voluntary. Solicited for the sole purpose of responding to your comment or request. If not provided, we cannot respond. Why would you ever want to email the military? By the way, IANAL. Yeah, just to clarify, IANAL. All right, I don't know anything here. You've never heard of a .mil address. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. I don't think us plebeians, as hoi polloi, are allowed to have a .mil address. In fact, we can actually check this. We can do a Google domain lookup. Is this gonna lock? Is this gonna like thing? Is this gonna show mine? Probably not, right? Wait, Google domain tools. There we go. The verified DNS, other debugging tools, the additional tools, message header, no. Browser info, no. Check MX, no. I don't really care about that. MX. Nor do I want to dig. Do I want to encode? No. I don't want to flush the DNS cache. No. What? Anybody can flush the DNS cache for any domain? What? Wait, I can mess someone up then. I can just go and like flush the DNS cache of someone's random domain, even if I don't own it. That seems weird. What? Yeah. Well, okay. We'll do I don't know, like a domain lookup. Dig is it? Okay. You'll look away. That is not gonna save you when the hand of justice finds you. Let's do a DNS lookup on .mil. Lookup error. Okay. Well. It's not what I wanted, but yeah, there's a reason why you don't see it. It's because it's not made for us. It's made for only government employees. I'm probably on a list now, probably. But that was fun. It was fun to sort of like learn about that and see how security clearances go. Again, it's a very complex process. It sucks for people because it's most of those people just had financial issues, right? But think about it from the perspective of like, why do you have financial issues? Monkey. That's Hobbleheim. We made him during a art segment, which you can actually check on the VOD channel. You see the monkey, please. Thank you. You can actually check on the VOD channel. You can actually see when the monkey was made. I can link it. Art. When we were checking out the Getty public domain art. Good times. Did you know that that's actually a remixed image? That I made that by stealing an old ancient artist's work who no longer exists and whose work is now in the public domain. It's fantastic. You like him? Thank you. I'm glad that you like Hobbleheim. Also, I forgot to do this. We need to actually get a better vomit. The vomit is cool, but I have a new vomit. I have a new vomit image actually. This one is also public domain. This is a classical piece of artwork. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. This comes from a piece of artwork about immortality. For some reason, immortality involves just letting loose everything in your guts on the side of an ocean while somebody like boats someone over. It's a very strange image. But yeah, it's fascinating to read those, right? A lot of those people had financial issues. And think about what financial issues are. You need money to survive and to secure yourself, to stabilize yourself, and to grow. And the best way to do that is to get a better paying job. And for them who's only ever known this industry, you're probably capped in those public roles, right? Even if you work for a department of defense company, right? Like a contractor, you can only do so much in the public realm before you need a security clearance to get more pay. And in our world, it's weird because we tie pay to your role. When realistically, I mean, more pay should come from like merit, but that's a whole, I'm not changing society here. We live in a society. I'm not changing it, right? It's a slow and steady process that isn't just by my hands, but by all of our hands, right? And so these people think, okay, well, only way for me to make more money is if I go up higher. I have to get a security clearance. But then that's the thing that like gets them. That's the thing that like ruins their like chances. Is the fact that they have no money, right? In a way, I think who said this? Rich get. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer is so true, right? Thank you, Percy B. Shelley. I really hope I didn't butcher their name. Ancient artist who no longer exists, so it's fine. They're not mad, I don't think, unless that's a modern term that came out in the last like 40 years. In which case, that would be crazy. That we have a modern term and a modern quote. But as fun as that was, there's more fun things that we're doing today. We're not just here to go through people's records and see if they committed any crimes. Chat. No. We're also here to play games. We actually do stuff on this channel. We don't just react to things. Although that was a fun little reaction thing. However, are we looking at Fish again? No, that's next week. I actually got really addicted to that game. But next week, I think there's a new event, so we're gonna join in the event and we're gonna see if we can find a dragon. Last event was a dragon, and we missed it. So next week, if it goes well, hopefully there's a new event and hopefully we get to see some like dragon. I need to find where they posted the news about it though, because I have no clue. You hope it's a Goblin Shark event. You missed the Goblin Shark. We found it at the very, very end. Right before everything ended, we have found the shark. We found a bunch of things. Your Goblin Shark lives in the deep sea. That's why we couldn't find it. We had to go down into deep oceans where there was like complete darkness. Thank you to DC from last time. Aren't they handsome? Yes. Yes. Quite handsome. Yes. You know what's even more handsome? This song. Now, as you know, everything that I do in this channel, sometimes we also go for a song as well. This song, interestingly enough, is in a playlist that's called Handsome Songs. I don't know why it's called a handsome song, to be honest with you, but it is a very, very good song. This song is called Night Dancer by an artist named Imase. Let me post a link inside chat as well, just so people know, because I think it's good too. Don't automatically start. Give them a moment. Good. I like the song a lot, but I can't tell if the song is a love song or not. But the vibe of the song is very interesting, and yet the lyrics make me think almost like a endearing love song in the way that like you can spice your life back up. But it also kind of sounds like a fuckboy song, so I can't really tell. It's either you're a fuckboy or you're married to your wife and you realize that you know things aren't as spicy, so you spice it up again, right? And you feel like in love because like this person stays with you, right? Like I don't know. And I don't know if it's my perspective as being someone who is married now that has made me think of that, but it's fascinating to think that like these songs have so many different meanings to them that can be determined or like that changes depending on your perspective on like life. But enjoy the song. I really enjoy it, and I think it sets a good mood for what we're going to be doing, which is Elden Ring in just a moment. BRB. On YouTube, went on a just a random like comment talking to me about how your keyboard glows when it gets hot. I don't know the context of that, but thank you for telling me that. I mean, also thank you to whoever that was for explaining to me what a CB radio was in American Truck Simulator. I really appreciate it. Again, I enjoy that song. I posted the translation of it, but there's like an official channel that I couldn't find on YouTube. But they do have an official like Spotify page and everything, so go listen to the song on Spotify as well. Spotify pays them, so better to listen there. But I usually don't post links to Spotify, which I probably should from now on. Thinking about that because maybe I shouldn't be doing YouTube. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I like that song. Again, it's fascinating, right? It's either a fuckboy song or it's a song, you know, about somebody who's like, you know, reigniting that spark in their life with their partner. I can't tell. When yet the way that they refer to like the person with them, it's almost like it's a constant person who's the same person who was there the entire time, and not somebody new every single time, like a fuckboy. Can't tell. Either way, I've never been a fuckboy. We're gonna go on to Elden Ring now. I couldn't get the game set up while we were doing this because when you start the game, it freezes everything for just a moment. So, if the stream freezes for just a moment, don't mind. Just give me a second, and we'll start right away.